Yo, what up, a-holes? Thank you for tuning into the Holistic A-Hole podcast. My name is Erik Levi, and I'm the Holistic A-Hole, the mommy blogger with balls, the inconvenient truth of health. What's up, y'all? I know it's Sunday fun day here, and I wanted to give you a little holistic miracle that I witnessed today on the old New York City subway to kind of warm your heart and just make you feel good and grateful on this beautiful day of the Lord. I'm on the train today. I'm going downtown, down to Wall Street, rush hour. Everybody's miserable. Everybody's pissed. Everybody's hungover, sleep deprived, sucking down coffee and eating bagels. And, it's just a really sad sight to see 8 o'clock on a New York City subway any weekday. Just not very motivating. And, look, I'm not going to lie, I'm no better. I'm just sitting there chilling, reading my book. And I'm sitting next to a homeless guy, which, by the way, on the New York City subway, that is a prime seat, okay? If it's not just the most, ridiculous, foul-smelling situation happening around you, I highly recommend anytime on the subway, sit somewhere around a homeless person because nobody's going to sit around you, and you'll get a whole seat to yourself. Just a little holistic subway tip for you. And, minding my business, and then, of course, another guy comes on the train trying to sell something, trying to collect some money, and this is just a normal, everyday thing that happens on the New York City subway. And when you live here for long enough, you kind of get some banner blindness going on to this, maybe like your first time riding the train, you look up when someone's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, let me have your attention," and you're like, "Ooh, they're doing it, just like in the movies." But after you've lived here for some time, you're just like, "Oh, Christ, dude, seriously, like, I can't, I'm just reading." Your voice is now interfering with my voice trying to comprehend words on the page. And that's just typically how it goes. This isn't like a mean thing, okay? It's not a privileged thing. It's just a living in New York thing. Any social justice warrior, I don't care what your, what your rightness is in the world, this is how we just all feel, okay? This guy comes on the train, and he's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not doing drugs, I'm sober, I'm just looking for, some change, a penny, a dollar, whatever, some food." And, of course, again, not paying much attention, except he notices the homeless guy next to me. And this homeless guy, poor dude, crouched over, sleeping, who knows what this guy's been through. I'm sure he's got a story. And I'm sure it's just heartbreaking and it's crazy and whatever, right? So this guy walks up to the homeless guy and he's like, "Hey, man," he's like trying to tap him on the shoulder, like, "Hey, man, you want something to eat?" And homeless guy who came on the train had a bag of food. He had some apples. I was sitting there, I could see in his bag he had like apples and like some potato chips and some Nutri-Grain bars or one of these nut bars or something. Which, look, hey, that's not my go-to as the holistic a-hole, but, not bad for homeless guy just collecting food, which I'm probably sure is just stuff people gave him they had on him. Like, I don't want this goddamn nut bar. Some disgusting, I got the last thing left over from the company potluck, and it's like, I'll just give it to the homeless guy. Same thing with the apples. Like, God, Jesus Christ, the wife gave me an apple to go to work. I don't want this shit. Here, homeless guy, you take it. Okay, so this dude had a full-on collection of this stuff, and he goes up to the sleeping homeless guy next to me, and he's like, "Hey, man," he's like, hey, and the dude like looks up, and he's like, you want something to eat, man? Like, I got all this food, why don't you take something? And the guy's like looking in the bag, and he's doing that thing where it's like, you ever been like so drunk where you're just, and I'm not saying this guy was drunk, I'm just saying like this is how I relate to it on like a bodily movement functional level, whereas like you're just like looking around, it's like you just like woke up in the back of a cab you didn't even know you got in, and someone's like trying to like be like, "Dude, like here, try eat this Burger King, man, it's gonna sober you up," and you're like, "Oh, what in the hell, where am I right now?" And it's like, "Oh, did I puke on myself?" And he's like fingering through the bag, and he sees the fruit and he sees the bar, and he's like, "No, man, I don't want any of this shit." He's like, "I want a sandwich." I'm sorry, it was the best line. It made my day hearing him say that. Like, oh man, I want a sandwich. You got a sandwich? And the guy's like, bro, this isn't Grubhub. I'm not Seamless, okay? I came here with a bag of shit. Do you want it or not? And the dude's like, no, I don't want none of this crap. And he goes back down and crouches down. And then, I could look on the guy's face. And for a homeless guy to homeless guy interaction, I actually, this guy somehow rose above and became a whole new dude in the eyes of everybody on this train. And so he's standing in front of me and he's like, look, hey, I'm just trying to get like some money to buy a hot meal. Like if you got any change, I would certainly appreciate it. A dime, a quarter, any food, I will gladly take it from you. And I don't know what it was, man, but it was just like knee-jerk reaction, just straight up reflex. I pulled out my wallet. And I was going to give this guy $1. I was thinking about maybe $2 and open my wallet. And then I look inside and it was like immediately I saw a 5 and a couple ones. And I just gave the dude the 5, which is a record for me. I never give homeless people money. I never give any beggars money. It's just my own personal belief. If I gave everybody who begged me for money on the streets of New York, this would be like $1,000 a month habit I would have. That's how much you get accosted for this stuff in the city. But I gave the guy $5 because I was like, you know what, dude? I like this guy, and it's not even about being a good person. I like his marketing approach. This is what I'm talking about. This is what it's about. This is a businessman's mindset right here. Because I don't know if he did this on purpose, but he definitely did it in some capacity, which is he went over, and in front of the whole train, we were all watching, he tried to do a good thing. He didn't come on with a guitar or a piano or a sad song or, just guilting people for not giving him. No, he just was like, look, he just gave the impression of trying to serve, of trying to think above himself and be like, look, man, I've collected all this food and I'm going to hook you up. I need this myself, but maybe you need it more. And everybody watched and everybody saw how he did this. And it was just the greatest beggar story, panhandler story you could do. So this is like me giving you homeless a-holes a little hot tip here. Do that shit. Don't go on and start just begging people for money. If you show people a good deed, beyond like, look, if you're a freaking talented person and you got like chops and you're making money trying to just like play music on the subway, I think that's one thing. There's some really talented singers and, trumpet players and all these people going on the subway. I think they work for the money. But if you just go on and you're just like, man, like, what is a good thing I can do? Not even because like we need to see that you're a good person, but just like you just earned it. You were just thinking above yourself. And I gave this guy $5. And then all of a sudden people saw me give $5 and it was like they started pulling out cash. And I'll tell you, I think this dude walked away with about $30 in one stop-to-stop train car, which that's like, I mean, look, let me compare it like this. If you're like a server at the Olive Garden and you walk out of work after like an 8-hour shift with $70, what he made was the equivalent of walking out of the Olive Garden with probably $1,000, off of an 8-hour shift. I mean, this dude just made out because I don't know what it is. I just felt this beautiful act in my heart. And I was like, I can't not give this guy money. It's not even that he earned it. It was like, I like where this dude is at in life. He had a positive attitude. Everybody on the train is miserable and pissed off, even though they got jobs, even though that we all got the ability to feed ourselves and pay our phone bills and have a roof over our head, no matter what's going on in our lives. If you're strung out on prescription drugs, if you're just in a bad relationship, if you, again, at a job you hate, but you applied for and you got, and you're just miserable because you just regret all your life decisions, doesn't matter, dude. This guy goes on 8 a.m. Who knows where he slept last night? Who knows what his story is? But he was like, I'm going to put other people above myself. I'm going to show you all how I serve. Even though I don't think he did it consciously, but if he does that every time he goes on the train, I'll tell you, dude, I see that guy fucking riding limos. Just playboy. Straight up playboy. Riding limos, big mansion on the beach. probably hanging out with Jeff Bezos and Richard Branson and Bill Gates and, shooting the shit with Jay-Z. Like, that's an awesome plan. So if you're trying to go into business or you're trying to do anything where you're trying to make money, it's not about the money. It's about the service. It's about the what can I do to serve other people, solve their problems, and somehow the universe will reward me financially. Might not happen immediately. Might take a lot of defeat, but it will come. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful, holistic thought. So I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. I know it's a short one. These next few episodes are going to be short because I promise you an episode every day. Running out of bandwidth. But I thank you all so much for listening. If you're enjoying this right now, please go on to iTunes. Leave a 5-star review. A nice comment is always good. Subscribe to the podcast. Join the Holistic A-Holes Facebook group on, Facebook. And I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.